caught up in the moment. Got me caught up in the moment. She got me caught up in the moment. Got me caught up in the moment. I only kiss her when she on it. Fuck her good, make her call me in the morning. My bitch bad, looking like a bag of money. That bitch bad, looking like a bag of money. I go.
Peace. This is King Noble, Black Supremacy. In this particular video, I want to talk about slavery, economics. It is something that is rarely talked about. Today we are associating slavery, bondage, and oppression with our economic condition as a people. While our economics is a symptom of the bondage and the oppression of our people, it does not totally reflect the essence of the mental, spiritual bondage that we have as a people. See, if you're a black man or black woman, just because you have $1 million, that doesn't make you free as a black person. You could have $1 million and still be a slave, a mental slave to white supremacy. For one, your enemy has defined what is valuable for you and has defined what value is through his economic system. He has taught you what is valuable, thus validating your existence and keeping you within a certain parameter of thought. This is a fact. So even if you had $1 million, what you're going to buy, how you're going to spend that $1 million is like someone who is oppressed and someone who is a slave. That's what you're going to do with your $1 million. So how the hell are you free? Because slavery isn't just economic. Plenty of people have money, but they're still slaves. They know all the tax cut, all the tax breaks, all the real estate laws, codes. They got every scheme, but they're still slaves. Because they still live in a multiple choice maze of white supremacy, where what they choose to create is they only have 3 options to choose from: white supremacy, white supremacy, or white supremacy. So the slavery is deeper than economics. Economics is only a stage where this deep level of mental enslavement can be played out by those who have some paper or some currency notes. That's a fact. The deep need for money to validate who we are as a people is a byproduct of slavery. Many of us in this society feel like we have no identity, no value, or no existence unless we have money or a certain amount. We validate who we are and how important we are in society and how successful we are by how much money that we have. But what was our value system before 400 years of slavery? Was the value of each and every individual in society based on how much money that we had? Or was it based on our tribe, our nation, our community, and the well-beingness of our overall society as far as the peace, the harmony, and the security that we had. Today, we live in an individualistic society based on people, on personal missions and hunts to validate themselves through the accumulation of Federal Reserve notes and material objects that value has been placed on them by the overall Eurocentric society. This is how we validate our existence today. We believe that freedom is economic, and we become very wealthy slaves, rich coons. This is a fact. Slavery is deeper than economics. People say, well, they stole our language. They stole our culture, our mores, our natural resources. But what they stole that's even more important than all of those things is our ability to think outside of the box of white supremacy. Because all those that I mentioned, culture, mores, language, customs, codes, all those can be recreated by a free black mind in its that's returned to its original and uncorrupted state by white supremacy. All those that I mentioned can be reproduced. But if you do not have the freedom of thought, mind, consciousness, of self-will, volition, then you will not recreate any of those things. And you will only select from the multiple choice programming that has been circumstantially given to you by your enemy and your oppressor to keep him in power and to keep you mentally and physically subservient to him. The main one we lost was our freedom of thought and the value of the essence of our own existence. We lost that one. And now our sense of value is in his society, in his world, his flunky, chasing after his dream, his fantasy. That has become our value. If we can come out of that matrix of chasing after his world and his illusion, everything that we lost per se, that we say we lost, culture, custom, codes, moral, language, we can recreate and reproduce like we produced those. But we need to return back to the original mind, the original free, infinite consciousness of the black gods and goddesses that we once were. In fact, not in theory. We can reproduce all of those. We can create a whole new economic system that reflects our interests of our society and the community that we want to have. We would authorize ourselves to do such a thing and support each other 1,000,000,000% in the manifestation and the establishment of it. We would do that. We wouldn't be just chasing after his illusion, trying to validate ourselves because of our low self-confidence, low self-esteem, and lack of valuing our own existence, our own independence. This is a fact. So there's no such thing as economic freedom when everything you would buy has been created and authored by your enemy. But your free thought is ability to create that which is not only perfect for one's own individual self, but is perfect for the entire community and the entire race of black people. We would author something like that from we would originate it. in the here and now. But now we want money, so we can choose from his multiple choice imprisonment. A Benz, a Lex, a Rolls Royce, a Hummer, right? A Bentley. We're choosing what he has already deemed as valuable for our own personal esteem. We're no longer creators, we're consumers. So there's no such thing as economic freedom or freedom through economics, because what we call economics is inclusive of interfacing with him based on his value system. Nationalism is exclusive of him primarily, and only inclusive of him where it benefits us as a nation and not just us as an individual, separate from nationhood. Freedom is a state of mind and a state of consciousness that produces sovereignty and independence and security for the totality of our nation and our race. Freedom would put us in a position to produce that results. There will be no liberation for black people until we free our minds. Join www.KingNobleBlackSupremacy, KingNobleBlackRulership.com, www.KingNobleBlackRulership.com. Black Supremacy.
Maybach music.
Money over everything. Self-made. But right now, shout it, you looking like money. I'm talking about real money. Huh?
Maybach music.
Yeah. My bitch bad, looking like a bag of money. That bitch bad, looking like a bag of money. I go and get it and I let her count it for me. I fuck her good and she always ride it for me. My bitch bad, looking like a bag of money. That bitch bad, looking like a bag of money. I go and get it and I let her count it for me. I fuck her good and she always ride it for me.